Instagram teen accounts have automatic protections for what teens see and who can contact them, plus time management tools. And Instagram will continue adding built-in safety features to help create age-appropriate experiences. Learn more about teen accounts and Instagram's ongoing work to protect teens online at instagram.com/teenaccounts.
Welcome back to Crime Besties. We are here for our last episode before Easter.
Oh my God, I hadn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Next Friday's Easter, Good Friday.
Good Friday. So this comes out on Tuesday before Good Friday.
Right.
And we are actually taking a 1 week break.
Yes.
We're just going to have a week to catch up, do what we need to do, spend some time with our families.
Yeah.
Take a breath and we'll be back the week after.
For sure.
Yep. So
ready to go. Actually, I think, do we return with a... No, we don't.
Yes.
We do. We'll have a double episode coming up soon. Yes.
Yep, we do. So that's a bit exciting.
I'm
There's
really
so
keen to
much
get into
research
that.
to do.
I feel like I really need to get started on that now. Like
I
overlap
think so.
a bit now.
We can't actually rest on our laurels.
No,
We've got a lot to do.
There's a lot for that. Yes. No, actually, I'm so not... I don't know that case. And it's a huge one. So
I don't know many specifics about it. I think I know very broad
Surface.
strokes about it.
Yeah. So I'm like,
Can anyone guess what we're talking about? Pop it in the comments. Let us know what you think it might be. Just also speaking of things that are coming up, our merch is not very far away. So I think probably it'll be after Easter now.
Yep.
We will announce that on our socials. Listen out in our next episode. We'll give some more details.
I reckon Em should probably do some modelling for it maybe.
Oh, yeah, totally. Yeah. Because I'd be really good at that.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that. We're really, really excited to launch all that. Oh my God, it's been an absolute... You would think that there would be an easy way to do these things.
Just
Turns out there's not.
And we've looked into this extensively. Like, please don't think that we've just been going, oh yeah, we hear you want merch, but ignoring you.
We've been working
pretty hard on it.
And also, I feel like if you're in the US, merch is easy.
Yes.
It's in Australia, it is really hard. And I get it. There's 300 million people in the US. It's easier. We've got 6 million people in Australia and we're so spread out and it is a lot harder. But anyway, we think we've got a solution. We're just going to wait on some samples, make sure they're all good for everyone. We want it to be good quality. That's right. Once we've got that, we will be launching it all to you.
And you can all arrive at your school pickups with pieces of shit written on your jumpers.
Yeah. And when that sparks a conversation, you know what you need to do, don't you? Recommend our podcast, obviously. So how has your week been?
It's obviously winding hopefully down to the school holidays because it's been insane. Mental, but I have an update on the frogs.
Okay.
So I know you were pretty adamant about this was going to occur and I was like, no, it's not happening. No, they don't croak, right? I was watching TV the other night and I could have sworn that the fucking predator had entered my house.
Oh, my God.
There was a noise and it does not sound like but everyone knows what a croak of a frog sounds like, but then they all have slightly different croaks according to my mad mental son that knows everything about frogs.
Okay.
They all croak differently, but I'm sorry, this was not a croak. This was the predator.
Oh, my God.
Because I was like, there's got to be like no joke, like legitimately it sounds like the predator. And I was like,
can you
I'm
record
going to die.
It for us and pop it?
I don't know because they don't do it very often.
Okay.
So far, that is it, but it's unnerving because you don't know when it's going to happen. And I thought there was, at first I'm like, fuck the predator, see ya. And then I was like, no,
that's
be
reasonable.
sensible. There's got to be a bird in here. Like,
oh God.
It's not a bird in my house. And I was like, no, this is the frogs that are making that noise.
Were multiple frogs making the same noise? Or do you think it's coming
tell you.
Okay, right. So it's not like one started off and then the other one's...
No, because they made the sound and then nothing. And then I went to bed.
That's almost a little more unnerving.
I know, because then I'm laying in bed and I hear it and I'm like, the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to sacrifice my son the other day, speaking of birds in the house. Have I told you this story?
No.
So we had I was actually bringing washing in from outside. This was before school one morning. Peter had already gone off to work, and I was bringing washing in from outside on a clothes horse. Yeah. And so I had the door wide open, the back door wide open. And then something happened. Lucas called me. He was in my bathroom. And Lucas called me. So I've kind of left the washing. Yeah. And I've gone into my bathroom, which is down the other end of the house, but left the door wide open. Yep. Anyway, next minute, Oliver comes out and he's like, Mum, there's a bird in the house. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I can't. I don't do flapping flying things. I don't do flappy flying things either. So I've locked myself in my bedroom.
Leave the kids to sacrifice.
Lucas was with me. Oh, he's like, I'm not having a bar of this bird either.
A particular child that you chose?
So I'm like, Oliver, sacrifice yourself. And he's like, Mum, calm down. I've gotten the bird out. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself.
He's the right kid to be doing that. He's the right kid to be doing that.
And I'm thinking to myself, I'm going to go out there. There's going to be like bird shit everywhere. Well, no, not a problem. Not a feather. No? Not a feather to be found. And it was one of those minor birds. They're evil, those birds. I'm convinced they're evil.
They're up there with pigeons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Filthy little fuckers. So thank God Oliver was home. I don't know what I would have done. I would have had to have stayed in my room. Sorry, Ollie, get yourself to school.
Oh, God, yeah, just life over, done. Yeah. We're done. That's where it ends.
Yeah. You know how people are like, oh, if there's a spider in my house, I'd rather burn it down than have to
burn
deal
that
with
shit
it.
down.
Oh, see, I'm fine with spiders. I can do spiders, creepy crawlies. I have no issue with whatsoever. Birds,
No, I do get you entirely. I'll never forget that my brother is like, he cannot handle any kind of bird. Whereas I'm like, okay, flappy things. Yeah, I can't. When it's flapping and flying, he can't stand birds, full stop. Like there's like, right. So as a teacher, I used to do the whole egg hatching program. And, you know, and so we ended up with these chickens and I'd bring them home on the weekend to look after them. And my brother could not handle cute little baby chicks.
I couldn't either. Honestly, I couldn't. No.
I can't. I can handle. They're little tiny little chicks chirping, like kind of thing. He was like, he fully like could not handle them at all. Yeah, no. Being in the same vicinity as him, it was bloody hilarious.
My in-laws have chickens. I mean, they get them grown, so they have them for eggs. Yeah. And I can't even go in the coop. I can't. But they flap.
I'm used to that. Growing up, we used to go to my nan's farm and stuff, and I'd go and collect the eggs every morning. It was my job to do that. But yeah, I can handle that. But I can't say if they do the flappy, if they start flapping, I'm out. Like, but as long as they're sitting still, I'm okay.
But even then, you don't know when they're going to flap. So.
Don't know when they're going to flap.
I can't. I just can't. I just absolutely can't.
Oh, Jesus.
We've had a really busy end to this term. Yeah. Like the stuff at schools, really ramped up towards the end. Next week's the last week of term, and Oliver, my grade 6 kid's going on camp. So I'm like, oh my God, they're going to be exhausted when they get back. Yeah. But at least then we've got the holidays.
Although I feel for those kids who where I was only having this conversation with something else the other day, they've planned their Easter holidays, right? And they're going away camping. So their kid gets back from school camp
and then goes
camping. And she's like, it's going to be a write-off.
It'll be a write-off.
It's going to be a shit show.
Yeah. You're just going to have to deal with the moods and everything that comes with it. Hopefully there's no illness on camp. Touch wood. There's always illness. But anyway, we'll see. We'll just deal with it. Take it as it comes. They're all very excited about it. I bet they are.
So. It's grade 6 camp. I mean, we were looking as well, the weather, because it actually looks quite good for next week.
Yeah, it does.
And we were saying that, they'll have fun regardless of the weather anyway. Because did they have a beach thing yesterday when it was pissing with rain?
Pissing down with rain. They were down at Mordialloc Beach doing, God only knows what. They were just... Yeah. Oliver was so disappointed because they didn't get to do all the things because apparently it was so windy as well. All the sand was blowing on everyone and in their faces and stuff. So he's like, look, it wasn't what it was meant to be, but
they would have had a ball.
They still had a great day.
Yeah. The bus trip's fun, let alone what you do when you get there.
Exactly right. I've got some more recommendations. I feel I've been doing this a lot lately, but I really feel strongly that I need to get these recos out to the people.
Yep.
Mostly to you as well.
Yes, definitely I need them.
Did you ever watch Deadlock season 1?
Oh my God, yes.
How good is it? Deadlock season 2 is out.
I know, I haven't watched it yet. It's on my list. It's on my list.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It is so good. So they're in the top end this time.
Yeah.
Oh, it is everything you want it to be and more.
Yes.
Highly, highly recommend.
Can't wait to get into that.
And then my other recommendation is How to Get to Heaven from Belfast.
Oh, I don't know this one.
It's on no, it's on Prime, I think. It's
yeah.
on Prime. And it is, for all of our listeners on this podcast, you will love it.
Yeah.
Because it's a bit of a murder mystery, but anyway, watch it.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's about a group of, it's about a group of 4 girls, and something happens to one of them.
Okay.
As an adult. So you sort of, there's flashbacks to them as teenagers
kids, right.
and then them as women.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. The characters are amazing. I fucking love their accents. Did you ever watch Derry Girls?
Obsessed.
Yep. Obsessed. So they've got Derry accents, which I just bloody love.
Yes.
And it's great.
Yeah.
It's so captivating, this show.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So I've just finished that this week.
Okay.
So it's really, really good.
Getting onto that one. Because you know what comes out today at 2 p.m?
Oh, what?
The last install of Love Story.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know what happens.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Still, I'm just hanging to watch that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. So did you, like, in the last episode was like watching the Princess Diana stuff unfold?
Yeah.
That was interesting.
It's a really
it was
interesting
an interesting
perspective of
and
that.
point in time. Yeah.
Incredible. Because, I mean, that's such, I mean, it's like, it's, well, similar to his dad, you know, like everyone knows where they were if you were alive. Like, obviously, I mean, even I wasn't alive then.
For Princess Diana.
No,
JFK.
JFK.
You were close, though.
Not even. God. That everyone knows where they were when those events sort of occurred. Like, and to have that kind of, I guess, to have another one of those moments in his time, in his lifetime, and hit him, you know, so hard, obviously.
Of
Like,
course.
wow.
Yeah,
wow.
huge. Absolutely massive. Where were you when Princess Diana died?
I was actually at school.
Okay.
It was because it was a weekend. It was either a Saturday or a Sunday. I was at school rehearsing a play that we were doing. And I remember someone coming in and telling us, and all of us going, "Nah, whatever. No, that's not true." That we then just derailed the entire rehearsal that we were having, like searching, trying to find out information about it, kind of going, and it wasn't as easy to search back then.
No, because it was like 1997, I think, when
that she
died.
passed away. Yeah, must have been. Yeah, it must have been year 11-ish. Yeah. So it was we were trying to find out information. I remember it was just being derailed from the rehearsal and then kind of having it confirmed. And yeah. What about you? Where were you?
I was actually at a girlfriend's house. We were having a sleepover, and I remember we were in her lounge room, and her mum was like, we were in her bedroom, and her mum was like, come and watch this on TV. Like, something's happened. And I think it was just, I remember the announcement was like, we've just found out she died, and it was just, oh my God, it was unbelievable. Yeah.
Wow. I mean,
Crazy.
I think we found, like, this person was coming saying that the car accident occurred, and because it wasn't confirmed till later in the day that she had died, kind of thing. So
that's
we were
right.
like, nah, what? Like,
Insane.
Huge.
Absolutely insane.
Yep.
Crazy.
For sure.
We have quite a few shout outs for today. We've got 3 new Patreons. So Hayley Hickman, Christy Koleski, and Jodie Dench. When Jodie Dench signed up, I have to say, I just, because the notification kind of popped up on my phone, and I was like, Jodie Dench? I'm sure she gets that all the time.
I'm sure. I just realised when you said it, I was like, I know where you're going.
Anyway, welcome, Jodie. Welcome, Jodie, Hayley, and Christy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Amazing.
So very much appreciated. Yeah.
Where is Daredevil? I'm right here.
Don't miss the return of Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again.
So what's next?
I feel liberated.
We're gonna take this city back.
Over medicated.
In an all-new season, now streaming only on Disney+.
They're hunting us. It's time we started hunting them.
I can work with that.
This should be tons of fun.
Marvel Television's Daredevil Born Again, now streaming only on Disney+.
So today we are talking about the case of David and Catherine Birnie. This is just, I feel like, it's so funny because, you know, where there's cases where you just think everyone knows about them?
Yeah.
To me, this is one of those cases because I don't know, I feel like they're just part of the vernacular. It's just, I don't know if it's because we're in this space, and we're interested in all of this stuff. I thought everyone knew who they were. Well, I was talking to Peter. He's like, oh, what case are you doing today? And he's like, oh, no, never heard of him.
Yep.
I'm like, okay, interesting.
Yes.
But basically, we're talking about this 5-week killing spree that these two went on in 1986.
Yep.
And it's just, so contextually, this was 10 years before the Claremont murders in Claremont, basically.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's...
some of the same sort of areas get mentioned in this, which you find kind of, it's really fascinating that they're in the same area.
Like terrifying.
Yes.
But also, I think it's really interesting that, that these two things happened separately, 10 years apart, and yet you look back on it. To me, I look back on both and I think, they were really, really significant events in Australia, let alone just in Perth.
Yes, because Perth's kind of still to this day. I mean, we always say, you kind of like, you fly to Perth from eastern side of Australia and you like go back in time.
Well, they say, from Melbourne, it's 5 hours and 50 years behind.
Sorry, Perth.
We don't mean that. We don't mean. I think
love Perth.
It's so beautiful. It's such a beautiful part of Australia.
It's a Sleepy Hollow in so many ways, but it's a city at the same time.
That's it.
I think the lifestyle living in Perth is so phenomenal. I think it's a great place to raise a family and grow up and live. I think it's stunning. So many, and you're so close to so many amazing places to visit,
beaches, and like even just desert, and there's so much on offer there.
Yeah,
I think Perth is actually the world's most remote capital city.
Yep.
Because it is, as we said, to fly from Melbourne, the other side of Australia, it's a 4 or 5 hour flight, depending on when you go. Winds, so I think for people who live in like Europe in particular, it's just unfathomable to go to another state. We have to fly for that many
drive
hours.
to another country in less than that.
Yeah, that's right.
State.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it is really remote. It's not near any of the other capital cities, who are all basically more eastern side of Australia.
Yeah.
So it is very remote, but lots of significant things have happened there, including this case.
Definitely.
So for people who haven't maybe heard of David and Catherine Birnie, you may have heard of this case referred to as the Moorhouse murders. So that refers to the street in which these absolute atrocities took place.
Yeah.
Can be sort of referred to as both. But I thought we could start by having a chat about David and Catherine separately and their childhoods, because I think it's important
very relevant
and very, very relevant. So both of them were born in 1951. David was born in February, Catherine in May. So they're only a few months apart, and they had, in some ways, certain parallels in their early childhoods, but then there were also, significant differences as well. Yeah. Both had deeply, deeply traumatic childhoods.
Yes.
So David was the eldest of 5 children. His mother was a chronic alcoholic, and his father was physically disabled. I believe his father had scoliosis.
Yep.
But it meant that he had very limited physical ability and therefore very limited ability to go out and earn and provide for the family.
Yeah.
Whether that was the only thing stopping him, I don't know.
I get a vibe.
The house that they grew up, that David and his siblings initially grew up in, was apparently absolutely filthy. Like,
they didn't really want children.
No.
They had no intention of really raising them
or caring for them.
Yeah.
Neither of the parents ever cooked a home meal. Apparently, they often didn't even have electricity in the home, and so the refrigerator,
the door was left open.
Left open, and the kids would just get whatever rancid food was in there.
And that was from a very young age. It was literally, if you survive, you survive, mate. Like, good for you.
The expectation, I think, as well was that, I don't know whether David took this on himself, or whether this was an expectation of his parents, but he tried in some ways to look after his younger siblings and find food where they could. It's heartbreaking. This is the only time I have sympathy for this bloke.
Yep.
It's, he's a victim of circumstance in this situation for sure.
Yeah.
There were also rumours of family incest. With the dad, in relation to the dad and the children in the family.
Yeah.
Apparently, David's mum was disgusting. Like, she was completely unkempt, swore like a sailor.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Fucking oath, mate. But she never cooked or cleaned. She would exchange sexual favours for things taxi rides and other services that she needed.
Yeah, and in front of the children. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is not any typical upbringing by any means.
No, not at all. When David was 12 years of age, his family moved house and they ended up moving next door to Catherine and her family. So she was also 12 years of age. Now, Catherine's childhood was tragic in a very different way. Well, in some ways, in a different way. So Catherine's mother died in childbirth when she was delivering Catherine's younger brother.
Yes.
Catherine's younger brother then several days later passed away himself. Yeah. So it was just Catherine and her father.
Yeah, at the age of 2, she was, on her own with her dad.
With her dad. And he decided to move to South Africa. Mm-hmm. And he was very, very abusive, verbally and physically. I don't know if it extended to the sexual stuff. There's nothing.
No, we don't know.
You didn't find anything to that effect either.
No.
Given everything that happened, I'm not at all suggesting that her father was a perpetrator of sexual violence, but I question whether she had some kind of sexual violence in her past.
Yeah, I don't know.
There's nothing out there that says anything about it. It's a dynamic that I think would be possible given everything that came after.
Yeah.
So after being in South Africa with her dad for about 12 months, he decided he couldn't handle her anymore, didn't really want her. So he sent her back to Australia to live with her maternal grandparents.
Yes.
Now, her maternal grandmother especially her grandmother, was very, very strict. And this was a really difficult situation. I mean, if you think about it, from the perspective, she would have been, 4 or 5 years old at this point when she was sent back to live in Australia with her grandparents.
Yeah.
The disruption of losing your mum, losing your brother, moving to South Africa, your dad not wanting you, moving back to Australia, that's a lot on a very young child.
And not only that, from a perspective of a child at 2 losing their mother, and yes, tragic circumstances how she was lost, but a child at that age can take that as abandonment kind of, sort of issue. Then dad is abusive towards you and also then decides, I don't want you anymore, more abandonment, send you to a home where, again, it's very strict and tight, because this family kind of very easily could be perceived by that child like, because you don't want me, like I'm a problem. So from that perspective of a child of that age development, the brain is basically perceiving all of this as I'm unwanted by everyone. I'm rejected by everyone and society in whole. I'm no good. I'm not meeting anyone's standards. I'm just a problem.
Well, then this got worse for her didn't it? Yeah. Because her grandmother had this massive seizure which landed her in hospital for a significant amount of time. Yeah. And she was then shipped off to live with her auntie and uncle. So she's again been just fobbed off. Like,
it's shifting and shifting again. It's so that when you think about what that actually, the impact of that mentally at that age, of what that is doing to her.
The auntie and uncle then rejected her and sent her back to her grandparents again once the grandmother had recovered.
Yeah.
Oh, the disruption to everyone. To this little girl's life is crazy.
So you can understand that when she has, at the age of 12, a boy move next door who they interact and go, oh, someone wants me. How dependent you can become very quickly on someone who shows any sign of affection. It may have been as simple as we like the same thing as a 12-year-old, of what the interpretation of that young girl who's been rejected by everyone, how that must have felt.
I fully agree with you, and that is exactly what happened. So I think Catherine David was quite a switched-on boy. For somebody who didn't go to school all that often and wasn't he was neglected by his family. Yeah. He was actually very well read and he knew a lot about a lot. Yeah. So I guess that was probably how he passed his time. But that was really intriguing to her. He knew about, politics and current affairs and science, and he was engaging. Like, he was really charismatic and really drew her in. And it got to the point where the two of them were engaging in a sexual relationship before they'd turned 14.
Yeah. Yep. But and like taking away what happens down the track, looking at it just at that point in time, I can fully understand why that occurred, because these are two people who have been like treated so poorly by the world, who find each other and like go and you feel like you have a person. And I can fully understand that becoming a sexual relationship even as a 14-year-old, because it's just like how I want love from someone and I'm getting it. They gave each other exactly what both of them needed.
Yeah.
And I mean, that doesn't happen in life very often, like for people like that.
That's so true.
So
I mean, it was so circumstantial that they came together, but you're right. They found what they needed in each other at the time.
And I do wonder whether if paths had not gone how it went, as in if this was the moment where they found each other, they are in love at 14, they get married at 18, have babies, have a life, I wonder how that would have looked compared to then what happened for them, because unfortunately their lives around them are so fucked up that this doesn't go down that narrow path of, you know, they've found each other, life continues with just the two of them.
Yeah, that's so true. So what happened after this is David and his siblings were removed from the home due to neglect. So they were obviously, I think, Child Protective Services, whatever they're called in WA, I'm not sure, but they were involved with this family on and off over the years, but it got to a point where it had
like
reached...
not enough, to be honest,
earlier. Absolutely not enough, and not early enough. But it got to a point where the children were removed from the home and sent to foster care. And so at that point, David and Catherine lost touch because, he's been removed. She's obviously still at home with her grandparents and that's kind of how it went out. David then he was a very little man and very small and skinny. I mean, he was probably malnourished from birth.
Yeah.
You know, so he's probably failure to thrive and, you know, he never probably grew to his full potential.
Yeah.
And so he was an absolute shit at school, apparently, like always getting into trouble and, you know, not doing his work, just causing trouble.
Not due to the fact that he wasn't intelligent, as you were saying.
Right.
Yeah.
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 He was just
a shit.
Just a shit.
Well, yeah. When he'd been raised like that, what
that's
do you expect?
it. I mean, he had no boundaries at home.
No.
So he decided, well, I think he was probably pushed to leave school. And he became an apprentice jockey. Now, this is where all the fucked up shit really starts.
It gets real bad here.
So he was actually a boarder at, was it Ascot?
Yeah, I think
you're I think that's ringing a bell. Sorry, I actually didn't write it down.
No, I didn't either. That sounds familiar.
And he was a boarder there and a jockey's assistant, and moved his way into actually riding horses and whatever jockeys do.
Yep.
Now, there were so many things that happened. He was only there for such a short amount of time.
Yeah.
But he did so many bad things. So people who worked with him in the stable said that they caught him hurting horses.
Yeah.
I don't know specifically what he did. Did you?
No, everywhere just sort of he abused animals.
Abuse them.
And so what that
means
looked like.
It's probably good that we don't know exactly what happened there.
I probably can't handle that. Yeah.
He also, there was a landlady. So where all of the jockeys boarded, there was a home near the stables.
Yeah.
And it was seen to by an elderly lady who cooked and cleaned and sort of tended to the property. And one night she was lying in bed and David came in nude with a stocking over his head and attempted to rape her. I believe he actually did rape her.
Yeah, he did.
So
it was also during that same sort of time frame was a bit of an exhibitionist. He would, flash and everything people randomly. So there was many things going on in that environment where they were like, "We've had enough. You need to go, mate.
You need to get out."
Yeah.
So he did. I don't actually know what he went to do. I know he eventually became a motor mechanic.
Yes.
So I don't know whether at that point he went on to do the training for that. To me, there were some years there that aren't accounted
Well,
for.
because he did spend time in and out of prison too. So whether or not he studied those things whilst he was in jail,
Sure.
maybe.
Oh, actually, that actually would make sense.
Yeah.
Time-wise, that would absolutely
I feel
make
like
sense.
that was where I was kind of landing with it. That's potentially where that training came in.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that would have been part of like the time he spent there of like, well, let's get you,
on a path.
a trade or something that you can go and do when you do exit.
So
this.
he wasn't actually jailed for that rape of the elderly lady.
No.
He was jailed for petty theft, burglary, and like physical assault of somebody that was perpetrated during one of these burglaries, like an aggravated assault.
Yeah.
He was around this time, like along this timeline, he developed an absolute fetish for pornography. He was addicted to sex.
Yes.
His brother James, now this is so fucking fucked up.
We can get probably deeper into it later too.
Yeah.
Oh, do you want to do it now?
We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot going on. He was absolutely depraved in his sexual desires.
Yes.
Is probably a good way to put it.
Yeah.
In the mid-1960s now, David and Catherine reconnected. Now, during this time, David had actually met and married a woman by the name of, I want to say it was a K name.
You haven't got her name written down, actually. That was not until 1972, though.
Oh, that was it was in 72,
yeah.
sorry.
So they met, so her and Catherine and him sort of reconnect
In
prior
mid-1960s,
to him marrying her.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And they do some jail time. Well, he does some jail time.
She gets a caution. So
Yeah.
Around this time, she actually became pregnant to
Yes.
an unknown man.
Yeah.
Not David.
Not David, but although they were back seeing each other.
Seeing each other, that's right. But this pregnancy wasn't to David. They committed some burglaries together.
Quite a few.
A lot.
Yeah.
They were caught for one. That's what David ended up going back to prison for.
Yeah.
Catherine was actually spared prison at that point.
Because she was pregnant.
She was heavily pregnant.
Yeah.
She then had that baby, and when David got out of prison, they reconnected again. And again, they,
Continue
kept
the
committing
same
all the same crimes.
burglaries,
It's not-
etc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Around that time, so I think it was like, so in the so it must have been early 1970 when David was released.
Yeah.
Teamed up with Catherine. They did more thefts.
Yes.
And that's when David went back to jail.
Yeah,
And Catherine too. She
Yes.
went back to jail for 6 months.
She went to
at
jail
that
for
time.
6 months and then
Her
exiting and the child, sorry.
Was the
Yeah.
child was taken off her
Yes.
while she went to prison for this 6-month stint.
Yeah.
When she came out of prison, she was looking for a job. I think
Well, I think the prisons kind of like said, like, let's get you on a path here. We've got to get you. And because at this time, the courts were sort of saying, you cannot spend time with David. Like they were, this is not good. So they were encouraging her to not have any contact with him.
Catherine also said that there was a particular officer or a prison officer who was really trying to mentor her and said to her, don't go there.
Yeah.
Stay away from him.
He's not good
leading you
news
down
for
a
you."
bad path.
Yeah.
And she is the one, I think, who helped Catherine get the job after she was released from prison with the McLaughlin family.
Yes.
So she was able to get a job as a nanny and a housekeeper with this family. They were a massive family. I can't remember how many kids they had in this family, but it was a lot.
Good Catholic family.
Good Catholic family.
Yeah.
She became pregnant to one of the sons in this family. So an adult son, like
Yes.
they were a similar
He was
age,
similar age,
21
yeah.
at the time. Donald McLaughlin, his name was.
Yeah.
And then because she was pregnant, they were actually allowed to marry. And they married on her 21st birthday in 1972. So they would go on to have 7 children.
Yep. The first one.
Oh, isn't this horrific? See, this just adds more to the tragedy of this woman's life.
Absolutely. So yeah, they were having, it was like a party at their house. They had their first child. It was 7 months old at this stage.
Donnie Jr.
And little Donnie was crawling around on the ground out on the driveway of the home. And somehow, unfortunately, someone has driven a car into the driveway, not thinking that you would have a 7-month-old baby on the driveway. And unfortunately, he was run over and killed.
And Catherine saw it happen.
I mean,
it is my worst fear. That was
absolutely awful.
Awful.
So, look, why that baby was there and left there, I don't know, but it's just tragic, just awful. So, but yeah, I sort of, when I first heard that, I was like, oh God, that'll be it. Like, you don't have any more kids because she'll be in such a state. Went on to have 6 more kids. Mm-hmm. Like, wow, holy cow.
A lot. It was, I mean, again, good Catholic family.
Yeah. But that means total, and she has 8 pregnancies.
That's right.
So 7 children in that home with her and Donald. Mm-hmm. So she's got her son from the previous relationship that we don't know who father was, but Donald obviously took him on.
Yes.
As his own, basically, sort of, and brought him into the family home. You don't sort of hear too much about that being an issue.
I believe the McLaughlin family were quite a respectable family, like in the community. I think they were very well regarded and they were a big family, and so everyone kind of knew them. And for Catherine, I feel like this could have been such a clean break into a much more positive life.
Yeah. I think that's where she was headed.
That's what I think. But I'm like, do you think that because Donald Jr. was killed in front of her, that kind of switch something again?
No,
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so, because she went on to then have the 6 more
That's
children.
True.
That I feel like actually, unfortunately, life took a path later on for them after having all 6 children. There was some talk around like that she never really maternally sort of cared for those children naturally,
we
instinctually.
Actually know that as a fact,
yes,
don't we?
We do. But also then Donald has an accident and injures himself where he can't work. So the income stops. And so she's there with 6 children plus his father, I believe. He fell ill. So she's at home with 7 children and looking after an injured husband.
Disabled husband.
And father-in-law who's also unwell in the home.
Well,
so that's
actually
a lot for anyone to take on.
They had to move houses into council housing.
Yes, they had no income.
They had no income, so they couldn't afford to stay where they were.
Yeah.
They went into government housing, which I think was not ideal. And it also then led to, I don't know, the way I think about it, if you put yourself in Catherine's shoes there, right?
Yeah.
You're in a pretty shit situation.
Yeah.
There's you don't really have much going for your life.
Even if you are the world's greatest mother, trained nurse, to manage that, that's a fuckload for anyone to take on.
That's right.
Not that I'm trying to defend this woman, though.
No, not at all. But we're just trying to understand it, right?
Yeah.
Not that there's a lot to understand, especially as things come out. But Catherine was also not good at keeping the house.
She hadn't been raised to know that stuff either. I mean, when you think about it.
No.
Yeah.
But, and I guess she's got 6 kids. She's got a husband and a father-in-law who she's trying to care for, but apparently their house was really unkempt as well.
Yeah.
And the kids were wild. You know those families that you're just looking at, that's one of them. Yeah. I can imagine that was that. They were that family.
Anyone with that many kids, it's like they just, I mean, I don't know how bad it is with 2, how much they rile each other up. I can't imagine that many riling each other up. Holy fuck.
You'd have to just kind of be like, yep, all right, you do you.
Yeah.
So
I guess running alongside this of like what Catherine's life's looking like, then we've got David on the other side, who also married in 1972.
Yeah, so that was a woman named Kerry. I did write her name down.
So, and again, he was living a very normal life. I mean, it was quite, the marriage was good. They had a daughter, and everything was going well. Unfortunately, though, David did have an accident as well at work, and he hit his head really severely. And I mean, head injuries just aren't good. I mean, you put it in the context of who he was anyway, add a severe head injury to that, holy fuck. Which Kerry has said it changed him. Yeah. Although, I mean, I'm sure a lot of these behaviours were already there. I think from what we know of his childhood and and the fact that he raped a woman, an elderly woman at the age of 15, all these things, you kind of go, well, it was there. It was almost, I feel like he was almost faking it, and the head injury, like, faking it to be, normal, having this normal house and life, but the head injury just kind of went, fuck it, I'm not going to put the mask up anymore and be who I am. I don't know, that's just my take. But So she ended the marriage in 82. Because it was not a good household. He was abusive. She said his sex drive got really uncontrollable, and he was having multiple affairs.
He was wanting sex like six or 7 times a day.
And the clincher for her was when he brought home his 16-year-old girlfriend.
Yeah, to the house.
Yeah,
and she was
she
there.
moved him in. He moved her in.
Yeah. It was like she was like this 16-year-old was like his sex slave.
Well, it's like a 3-bedroom home, and so he moved her into. Oh no, or did he move the daughter out of her room? And that's right, he moved the daughter out of her room into with his wife, and so they were sharing a room so that he could share the room with his 16-year-old girlfriend.
But like at that point, wouldn't you be like, yeah, nah, David, you're not actually doing that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a sign of the times too. Is you're looking, early 80s, late 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, and what that looked like,
we don't know,
I can't kind of judge that in that sense. I don't know. I feel for her massively, for Kerry. I mean, like
Me too.
And the 16-year-old.
Oh God, yeah.
Which, funnily enough, that didn't last that long. But Kerry went. She was out and took the daughter, and that was that. Well, they were over that. But yeah, so the 16-year-old eventually moves out. And this is where Catherine and him come back together again.
So this was around 1983 now. So David and Kerry had split up, but Catherine was still with Donald.
Yes.
But Catherine and David embarked on an affair
For
at this
2 years.
For a couple of years.
Yeah.
Then this is the bit that I absolutely cannot come at.
Yeah.
In 1985, Catherine literally left Donald with the 7 kids at
including
home.
the child that is not Donald's.
Donald's, yep.
Yep.
Her youngest child at the time was 3, and she just walked out and left them all there. Now, with a physically disabled husband who was, I believe he was quite incapacitated.
Yeah.
Like, he couldn't do a lot.
It was a back injury.
It was a back injury.
Yeah.
The way that Donald found out that Catherine and David were back together and having this affair, right?
Yeah.
So not long after her last pregnancy, she decided to have a hysterectomy.
Yes.
She didn't want any more kids. She shouldn't have probably had the ones she did, but anyway. So not long after she'd had her last baby, she went back into hospital to have this hysterectomy.
Yeah.
And Donald decided, unannounced, to go and visit her one night. When he got there, David was sitting next to Catherine's bed holding her hand and stroking her hand. And he was like, oh, my God, I'm a fool.
Yeah.
I didn't see this.
No.
I didn't know this was going on. Then after that, it was like literally 2 years later that Catherine just walked out on everyone.
Oh, my God.
And left them with Donald.
Yeah.
It blows my mind.
It totally blows my mind. Even she wasn't that maternal, had that much maternal instinct, but how do you just walk out?
I don't know how you would. I honestly don't know how you would. I really don't.
No.
It just goes to show she didn't have any maternal instinct, or her drive for David.
This is it.
Was so much stronger than that. Which, regardless, it's a fucked up situation.
Because you could leave your husband, but still keep in contact with your children.
Oh, for sure.
Like, she chose so extreme of like, no, I don't want any of that now. Like, that whole life that I had.
That's right.
I want David, and that's it.
We're going to get a little bit more later on in this story into her kids coming back into this, because I just think that's terrible as well. But we'll talk about that in a second.
We can get into James a little bit here, I guess, though, too.
Yes.
So in this time where Catherine's still living with Donald, they're still together technically, and David is on his own living in his house. His younger brother, James, he'd been in prison for, unfortunately, sexually assaulting his 6-year-old niece.
6 months.
I've heard 6 months, and then everywhere else I saw was 6 years old.
Okay.
So I was going to go with 6 years because I saw that more times than the 6 months.
But also, it makes more sense to me that it's 6 years because of what he says about it.
That's why I went that way. But there was definitely places where I heard 6 months.
Same. Anyway,
so I'm not ruling out either.
6 years or 6 months. But anyway,
and unfortunately, I will just say
either
I
could be
would
true.
believe either, and which is really fucked up. Yeah, especially even when he's oh God, we'll get there. Anyway, yeah, he sexually assaulted his 6-month-old niece. Now, as we just said, what he said, he said that you just don't know what they do to you or how they.
No, he said She led me on.
He was inferring that she led him on.
He said that. He actually said she led me on. You don't know what
they're capable of.
What she's capable of.
That's what it was, the wording. Yeah. You don't know what they're capable of. 6 months, definitely. 6 years, definitely not able to do that. Sorry, what?
It's so fucked.
Fucked up.
This whole family. I mean, I'm pretty sure James was abused as well as a child. So it's just that,
and then continued
cycle,
to be
right, and continue to be.
Yeah.
Because what happened was when he moved in with David.
Because he came out of jail and had to have somewhere to go.
Yeah.
He asked David and said, because you've got, I have family to vouch for you to come out of prison, that he had to have somewhere to live.
David's the right person to vouch for you,
and
but
David didn't want to even. He really didn't want anything to do with it, but he ended up sort of
saying,
folding and saying, all right, well, come live with me.
James says that when he lived with David then, David's sexual appetite was voracious, and if he couldn't have sex multiple times a day, he would try and get it from anywhere. And on this there was a particular incident where he couldn't find a woman to have sex with,
he attempted this many, many times. Went to him and said to James, I need to have sex. I need to have sex. Can I have sex with you? Mm-hmm. To which James consistently said, no. Not going to happen, mate. That's no.
Oh, that night, so James said that he felt as though he'd convinced David that absolutely they were not going to be having sex. That was not going to happen. So James said he went to bed that night thinking, okay, well, I've convinced him. He's kind of backed off a bit. Mm-hmm. James woke up to David raping him. I can't on so many levels with that.
Yeah, it's beyond. Can't comprehend that.
James continued living there though, and
to me that sort of gives you a bit of an idea though of the normalising of these behaviours within that family.
The other thing I find so interesting is that even at that point that he was raped by David, he had never had a sexual encounter with a woman. So he obviously perpetrated acts on his younger niece, but he'd never actually had consensual sex with a woman.
So he was, oh God.
So for his 21st birthday, David gave James Catherine to have sex with, and David sat there and watched.
That was his gift for his
21st birthday.
And Catherine went along with it too.
Well, Catherine would do literally whatever David wanted.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
James also said too that apparently David would inject himself with something in his penis.
Yeah. So what he said was because he wanted that physical penetration. He wanted physical sex. So he would actually inject an anesthetic into his penis.
Yes.
So that he wouldn't feel. So basically so that he wouldn't ejaculate.
Yes. So he could have sex that much.
So it wasn't it numbed him so that he wouldn't get to the point of finishing.
Yes.
But he wanted the actual act of sex. To me, that doesn't really compute.
Well, it makes me go, because, the fact of the matter is rape and things like that, which is what we sort of get to with all this, in that rape is not about sexual pleasure.
No.
It's about control.
Yeah.
And I think that's more what by injecting himself with that numbing stuff, he had control of himself.
You're so right.
I think it's all just comes straight back to that. This is all about controlling a situation.
Yeah.
Which you go back to his childhood and he had never had any control. Now he's got control of it all. He can control himself. He can control the person he's got raping, in that position. Yeah. I think that psychologically that's where this is all coming from. Mm-hmm. Not that I'm... Yeah.
No, I think you've absolutely hit the nail on the head there. Catherine and David were never legally married, but Catherine took the Burnie surname by deed poll.
Yeah.
So and around that time they moved into 3 Moorhouse Street in Willagee, which is a working class suburb in Fremantle. It's, it was a working class suburb. So the houses were quite run down, generally speaking. There were a lot of blue collar workers. It was kind of on the fringe at the time, although, things have sort of expanded beyond that now. The city limits have sort of expanded on that now, but it was a cheaper place to live, and it was where they could essentially afford. There was a lot of drug use in that house, and
they would sell drugs. They
would sell drugs. They would take drugs. They were really sort of heavily involved in that scene. What are you doing over there, dropping pens?
I have a bad habit of flicking my pen. Now I've broken it, and it's gonna,
oh no, that's so annoying.
Even more.
So annoying. So around this time, David got a job. So he'd had this injury, right? So it meant that he couldn't really be a motor mechanic and be bending over cars and all of that sort of stuff. I'm not really sure the exact extent of why that was, but he ended up getting a job selling car parts at a wrecker's yard. It was like a 4-minute drive from their house.
Yeah.
He would also buy parts and keep them at the house and sell them privately to make a bit of extra money.
Probably not legal what he was doing, I'm guessing.
No, and I'm assuming he didn't buy parts to sell. He probably
stole them.
But anyway.
Yeah, he's well known to police, we should say.
He was well known to police, but I find it really interesting because his boss at that wrecker's yard said that he was trustworthy, he was really intelligent, he was happy-go-lucky. I'm like, what? Yeah, a bit of a personality shift indeed.
Yeah.
And he was really reliable. He was at work when he needed to be at work, and he worked
always
hard
went to work
and did what he needed to do.
Yep.
What? That's almost at odds with what we previously knew of him.
2 different lives within one, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
When they first moved into the street and into the house in Moorhouse Street, the neighbours said that they kind of kept to themselves. They were very... they'd say hi and that was kind of it. They were very quiet, but they did notice that a lot of people would come and go from the home. This is where the drug sort of stuff came in. We know that at the time, both David and Catherine were smoking cannabis, taking heroin and other prescription drugs that they could get their hands on. So they were sort of really deep into that scene.
Yeah.
So David also... when they lived in this house, he actually did a couple of stints in prison for different theft charges. Yeah. And he, around this time, started having these fantasies of rape and murder, and he disclosed this to Catherine like it was nothing.
Yeah, said to her, I always thought that, raping and murdering someone would be a really fun thing to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Catherine was actually a willing participant in that, so he's disclosed this to her. Yeah, let's sort of see what we can do.
And they did research it. They got books, of how to, perform the perfect murder, and all these sorts of things. They fully researched. I mean, this is where we go back to that whole sense of David wasn't a silly person. He was very intelligent, so he would read up on how to,
commit the perfect
crime. Crazy stuff.
Crazy. They researched even, blood typing and all of that sort of stuff, because we didn't really, back in the 80s, didn't have the DNA any sort of data about that or books about that probably. No. But he's looked up blood groups and how that gets left behind, what to do, where to place people, what's the likelihood of, and he even researched timings of things. And so... yeah, it was very much planned. And they did test out a few things of how to attract someone to be able to kidnap them, to bring them into this. They attempted one time where it didn't work, and so they worked out that it was best for them to do it together, because that someone would feel more comfortable if there was the female there with them. You know what? I totally get that. If a man approached you in a car, as a woman, if a man approached you in a car, you would fucking run.
No
right?
way. No.
But if it was a man and a woman, you may give it a sec. You may be like, oh, okay, there's a woman in the car.
Yeah. They're genuine.
It's
they're a
fine.
couple.
They're a couple. It makes the man seem safer, for sure.
Yeah.
Because you know what? By and large, it's not women who do these things, who perpetrate violence, who but in this particular instance,
Whoa.
oh my goodness, were these poor victims just susceptible. It's just horrific.
Yeah.
So as we said at the start of the episode, this all happened over a 5-week period and it was escalating.
Oh, big time.
So the first victim was a girl by the name of Mary Nielsen. Mm-hmm. This happened in September of 1986.
Yes. Oh,
David placed an advertisement in
October. It was actually. Sorry.
Yeah, the murder was in October, but just the month before because they were trying to figure out the best way to lure victims, right?
Yes.
So in the September, David placed an ad in the local paper to lure potential victims.
That's right. Sorry.
The advertisement said, "Urgent, looking for a lonely person.
Urgent. I mean, what?
Prefer female, 18 to 24 years. Share single room flat." Now, okay. If he was trying to lure someone, there are so many things wrong with that ad.
With that?
Is an 18 to 24-year-old lonely woman going to want to share a single room flat with a bloke?
Nope.
No.
Surprisingly, they didn't get any responses to that ad.
No shit. So basically, Mary was 22 at the time and she went to the spare car yard parts where David worked.
Yeah.
And she was looking for tyres for her car. Now, she was absolutely strapped for cash. I think, was she a student?
She was a student. She was studying psychology at University of Western Australia.
Okay.
She was working part-time at a deli. So she was, a young person trying to make ends meet in terms of doing her study, etc. So, yeah, if she could get some cheap tyres, then that's what she needed to get for her car to get around and get to work, get to uni, all those things. So, yeah.
So she went there, but David was like, you know what? I've actually got some tyres at my house. Come over after
They've got much better tread than these.
And I can give them to you for a discounted price.
Yeah, can do much better for you.
Of course you're going to do that,
Oh, my
right?
God.
I think anyone would.
Yes.
Especially for Mary in that situation.
Yeah.
On the 6th of October in 1986, Mary arrived at 3 Moorhouse Street. She was apprehended. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
She was restrained. She was chained to a bed inside. David raped her.
Mm-hmm. Well, Catherine
watched.
Yeah.
David expressed a desire to kill her.
Yeah. He sort of said to Catherine, well, she knows who we are. We can't just let her go. Like,
yeah, duh.
So,
Catherine went along with it.
Yeah.
Now, they had actually already researched, though, if they were going to go down this path, what they would then do with the bodies or how they would get rid of these women.
Yep.
They chose the Glen Eagle State Forest, which is 50 k's from where they lived, as a place to take these bodies and dispose of them. They actually took Mary down there alive. David raped her again in the forest. She begged for mercy. David strangled her with a nylon rope. After she was deceased, she was stabbed.
Yeah.
Her body was mutilated. Now, I don't actually know whether she was then raped post-mortem or not.
Well, he did say that he stabbed her, though, because he read somewhere that would speed up the decomposition process. He read it somewhere in a book.
He'd done so much research. So, yeah.
Yeah.
They buried her in a really shallow grave, And the interesting thing is, with all of these victims bar one, they were buried naked.
Yeah.
Let's hold on to that for a minute.
Yeah.
Murder number 2 was Susanna Candy.
She was 15 years old. It just gets worse, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. She was actually hitchhiking along the Stirling Highway in Claremont. We know that so well from the Claremont murders.
Yeah.
This was 2 weeks after the murder of Mary. Now, she was described as a very smart, pleasant, straight-A student. She attended Hollywood High School. She was the daughter of an ophthalmic surgeon. Yeah. So he was, I think, the top ophthalmologist in Perth at the time. And they had, I can't remember how many kids they had. Maybe they had 4 kids, I think. And she decided to get a job at the local restaurant and she wanted a little bit of independence, a little bit of her own money. I can totally understand that. At 15, I was exactly the same.
Yep.
Her dad wasn't all that comfortable with her having a job and being out and about. He just felt like it probably wasn't something a 15-year-old girl should do. So he would actually walk from their house to the restaurant every night that she worked, and they would walk home together. On this particular night, which was the 20th of October in 1986, her dad had another engagement, so he didn't come and pick her up. And as she was walking home from work, a couple stopped. That couple happened to be David and Catherine Birnie. And because Catherine was in the car, I think she felt comfortable enough to hop on in and be like, oh, yes, thank you. That'd be a really, really nice thing if you can give me a lift home.
And Catherine and David had discussed this sort of thing of like when they would pick up girls like this, of if one of them felt that this was someone that they would like to have sex with and take home and do this, they had code word. And so the idea was that one of them would say, well, yep, okay, I'm keen for this one. So to let the other one know that I'm up for this with this one, they would say, oh, David, I've got the munchies. And David would respond with, yeah, me too, I've got the munchies. So they knew that was the one that they would then take.
Home.
Yeah. Gross.
They did that with Susanna.
Yeah.
They took her to Moorhouse Street, tied her to a bed, repeatedly raped her.
They kept her for days.
Yes, this is the thing. So this is where some of the escalation has started to happen, right?
Yeah.
So with Mary, they raped her and murdered her in the same day.
Yeah.
With Susanna, they kept her for days and raped her like multiple times a day. They forced her to write a letter to her parents saying that she was okay and that she just needed some time away, needed some space. A 15-year-old girl. They said they didn't believe it for a second.
But unfortunately the police did.
Yes.
Which that frustrates me
too.
No end, that the parents went to the police and said, their daughter was missing, but they'd received these letters and they said, but that's not our daughter. Like there's been no reason for her to do that. And at 15,
there
why
is
would
no
she be
reason.
doing that? And and the cops were like, oh, well, she's clearly okay because she's written letters. And so, yeah, look, she's probably just, as she said, needs some time and some space.
But then
leave her
like,
to it.
but
She'll
then
come
like,
home.
where is she?
Yeah.
She's not with her friends. She's not with our family. Where is
They
she?
knew this was so not in character for her, and the police would not have a bar of it.
Yeah, that's fucked.
Yeah.
It's so fucked up.
Yeah.
Apparently, they decided a few days later that it was time for her to be murdered.
Oh.
And David attempted to strangle her with a nylon rope again.
Yeah.
But she became hysterical and really started to fight back.
On her.
Good fucking on her.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they just then decided to shove some sleeping pills down her throat. And once she was unconscious, David said to Catherine, prove that you love me.
Mm-hmm.
So Catherine took the nylon rope and strangled her to death.
They once again took her to the Gleneagle site where they buried Mary Nielsen and also buried Susanna Candy in the same place, which is just awful.
Yeah.
Just utterly awful.
After they had killed her, they actually posted another letter to her family. So, it looked like she was still
missing.
Missing. And so the police still, even after
she's fine.
a week or whatever it was, thought she was still a runaway.
Yeah.
Oh, just horrific.
After the fact of all this, Catherine Birnie did say about murdering Susanna that she did it because I wanted to see how strong I was within my inner self. I didn't feel a thing. It was like I expected. I was prepared to follow him to the end of the earth and do anything to see that his desires were satisfied. She was a female. Females hurt and destroy males. Oh. Shit.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. She felt nothing.
Nothing.
No. It was all about David. It was just about meeting his needs, and if his needs were met, then everything was fine.
Oh, my God.
Mm-hmm.
The third murder was a different sort of situation because of the victim, who the victim ended up being. So this occurred on the 1st of November in 1986. The victim was Noeline Patterson, who was 31 years of age at the time.
Mm-hmm.
She was driving home when her car ran out of petrol and she was sort of stranded on the side of the road.
Yeah.
She was a very elegant, attractive and accomplished woman.
Mm-hmm.
She was a former flight attendant for Ansett Airlines, which is no longer in existence.
No, remember
but then
Ansett?
she was she was so good at her job that she was actually employed by Alan Bond's private airline for a while. And so she was, sort of in the elite sphere of her career.
Yeah.
She worked at Nedlands Golf Club. She just was one of those people who she was in these elite circles and providing service in that sort of respect. So you can imagine the type of person that she was.
Yes.
She was very well groomed, very well spoken, very accomplished in her career.
And I think being a flight attendant, you're trained to help people feel comfortable in what sometimes could feel like a scary situation.
Yeah.
Hit some turbulence. You know how to make your customers feel at ease. That's, I think, as a flight attendant, that's really a major part of your job, is making sure everyone feels at ease and no one's panicking in situations.
And that's the thing. They don't panic either.
No.
So she had a very calm personality and a very calm demeanour.
Yeah.
She lived with her mother in Bicton. So when she's pulled over on the side of the road, having run out of petrol, this couple, who happened to be David and Catherine Birnie, they pulled over to help. Now, she had actually previously had interaction with them before.
Yes.
She had hired them, was it to paint her house?
Yes,
So
you're
David
right.
would do odd jobs here and there.
Yep.
And she had actually, he'd painted her bathroom or something like that in her home. So she recognised them and they offered to help her. So, of course, she entered the car willingly and was like, yeah, absolutely, thank you. That's really great. I'm so glad I ran into someone I know who can help me out when I'm stranded.
Yep.
The situation escalated as soon as she got into the car.
Yeah.
David held a knife to her throat. They took her to Moorhouse Street immediately. Obviously, they both had the munchies.
Yeah.
She was chained to the bed, gagged. Now, she was raped repeatedly as well. Just absolutely horrific. Again, she was held for several days.
Originally,
Now,
the plan was to murder her that same
Immediately.
day, but David changed his mind.
well, David developed quite the affinity for her.
Yeah.
Because she was well-spoken, and I think because she had this calm demeanour, she tried a bit of a reverse psychology type of situation on him. She pretended to be into it.
And sort of, that she
was wanting
willing
to be
participant
there.
in that sense of that
She was stroking his ego
Yeah.
in the hope to soften him.
that he
which-
might turn around and go, hey, well, then we won't kill you and we'll let you go. Like, I can understand her thinking, and that could work in your favour to be as submissive as possible.
And you know what? I have a feeling, given the narcissist that David is, that it would have worked had Catherine not been there.
Absolutely. I think, unfortunately, potentially, it worked against her because Catherine was there. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
So Catherine became extremely jealous because when they'd done this in the past, David would rape the women that they'd kidnapped, but then he and Catherine would then have sex as well because the thrill of that for
Would get
both
him-
of them would get them going,
Yep.
right? Oh, I have to
gross.
say that not even thinking about it.
I know, you
because
just
it's so disgusting.
disassociate. Yep.
What really pissed Catherine off was that David was actually choosing to have sex with Noeline
Yeah.
as opposed to having sex with Catherine, and she got really, really jealous. And it got so much so that Catherine was saying, when are we going to kill her? And David's like, oh, maybe tomorrow, maybe tomorrow. For 3 days, this kind of went on.
Yeah.
Catherine held a knife to Noeline's throat in front of David and said, it's her or me.
Held the knife to her own
Oh,
throat.
was it to her own throat? Sorry. And said, it's either her or me.
Yeah, I'll kill myself right now in front of you, or you kill her. Like, which is it? To which David said, yeah, well, Noeline goes.
Yeah. So
Because he was as infatuated with Catherine. I mean, in his mind, I can imagine him doing the whole, like, Noeline's not exactly going to let me keep doing this with other women, whereas Catherine will if I, that works for him.
Catherine was complicit in all of it, as in she'd already been involved with all of this, whereas obviously Noeline was a victim of theirs.
Exactly.
So they did the same thing with her. They forced sleeping tablets down her throat because, again, she put up a fight.
Yeah.
David strangled her while Catherine watched. They took her body to the Gleneagle Forest again and buried her with the other victims. Now,
it didn't go that smoothly.
No, it didn't.
No.
Just really quickly, what I just wanted to say before I forget is that that Noeline was the only victim that they buried with her underpants on.
Yeah.
And I think that's because David liked her.
It was almost like him
a
being
respect
respectful.
thing. Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah.
In his own warped, weird way.
Yeah.
So... But they put her in that shallow grave to bury her, and it turned out she wasn't dead.
Oh, no, that was Denise.
Oh, my God. We're only up
was
to victim
Denise.
3,
Sorry,
aren't we?
sorry.
Oh, my God. No, this is how I'm like, no, we've got to be up to that one already.
I know.
There's more.
There's more.
Fuck me. So sorry, people. I don't want to confuse people.
No, it's all right. So now we're up to victim number 4, who
Now we're
was
up to
Denise
4.
Brown. So this was
Oh,
only...
I'm sorry, people. There's more. Yep.
So the day that they murdered Noeline, they picked up Denise.
Literally, this is the thing. They were not stopping it.
And this is where I'm saying it's escalating. So they had a few days before
time.
the victims at the start.
Yep.
They were keeping them longer. They were perpetrating more sexual violence upon these women.
Yep.
And now they'd literally just buried one, and the same day they picked up the next. So Denise Brown was captured on the 4th of November in 1986.
Yeah.
She was 21 years old and she was a computer operator, and she also did some babysitting for neighbours and for family members.
Yes.
She was sitting at a bus stop on the Stirling Highway, and the Burnies saw her waiting for her bus, and they stopped and asked her if she wanted a lift home. Same thing, she got in the car willingly. Obviously, I think, Catherine being there again would have made her feel comfortable enough to do that.
Yeah.
After entering the car, David held a knife to her throat. They've taken her to Moorhouse Street, chained her to the bed again. Over the next 2 days, they sexually assaulted her. Mm-hmm. They forced her to phone her parents. Now, so this was a little bit different in terms of
They've gone from the letter writing to now phone calls. Yeah.
She did that. I mean, she was under the threat of death. She had a knife to her throat.
She did say to them, was it her that she said that she told them that she was out drinking with friends?
Yeah.
Because she didn't drink. So she was hoping her parents would twig
and go
to the fact
there's
that
something wrong.
That's not right. Like she doesn't drink. But yeah, they didn't twig, unfortunately.
No. I mean, I guess you're 21, you think, as a parent, you'd think, oh, okay, you've tried it.
You've given it a go.
I mean, it's not outside the realm of possibility, is it?
No.
No. Oh, anyway, so it was this one was Catherine's choice to kill her after the couple of days.
Yeah.
They actually took her to the Nangara pine plantation to kill her. Now, she was alive when they got there.
Yeah,
they
David
assaulted
raped her again. Yeah.
Catherine was holding a torch while David was trying to slit her throat.
He sort of stabbed her in the neck.
Oh, he stabbed her.
Yeah,
right,
it was a stab in the neck. He was convinced that she was dead from that. Turns out. So while he dug the hole, he's thinking she's dead from the stabbing in the neck, and he moved the body into the grave, and she sat up.
That happened twice.
Yeah.
So after the first time she sat up,
Catherine
went back to the car to get a bigger knife.
An axe.
After that was an axe. So the next one was a bigger knife. They then stabbed her in the chest.
How many things they have with them?
I know.
Jesus Christ.
They had their kill kit.
Yeah.
This was part of the research.
Oh my God.
David then stabbed her in the chest. They then they've then laid her down back in the grave.
Thinking she's dead now. Like, nope.
She then sits up and gasps again.
Yeah.
David then struck her with the shovel that he'd used to dig the grave, and then used an axe to actually bludgeon her to death.
Yeah.
Oh my!
He struck her twice in the head and then buried her. Oh God, awful. Just awful. I mean, horrendous.
It was just horrendous. Doesn't even begin, does it?
No. And I mean,
Catherine found this murder particularly, like, she was quite squeamish.
Oh, did she?
Poor thing.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I fucking don't care.
But this is where the escalation was heading, right?
Yeah.
This was 27 days of murder, abduction, assault, just absolute horrific crimes.
Absolutely.
Now comes, I have to say, the woman who deserves so much credit in this. I think without this woman,
can you imagine?
so many more women would have died, because even at this point, with these four women, who have gone missing, the police have not put together that there are serial killers out there.
No.
They've got three independent
missing people.
but even with one of them, they're like, are they missing? You know, it wasn't like they were putting all this stuff
and
together.
because they were writing letters or phoning, and even though that had stopped, because they're working so quickly, like
that's right. It was like the same day or next day.
It's not even like that the two are being connected, because there's like, oh yeah, well she's gone missing, but she's sent you a letter to say she'll be back soon, and she phoned you the other day. Like, it's fine.
So I guess in some ways, as a police officer, you're like, oh, the MOs are a bit different. If there is a crime here, even.
Yeah.
But they didn't even really think there was a crime happening.
They were just thought these people were just needing more time to themselves. What?
Yeah. I think so. The final victim, Kate Moir.
Yep. Amazing.
She is such an incredible woman. I just think I am so in awe of everything she did.
Yeah.
Because without her doing all of those things and remembering all of the things that she did, I don't think we'd be where we are today.
No, because possibly the police wouldn't have believed her anyway.
100%. So she's incredible. Let's get into it.
Yes.
She was out drinking with some friends. She was quite intoxicated and she was hitchhiking to get home after a night out with friends. And obviously the Burnies have come across her. They've picked her up.
This is on the 9th of November, 1986.
Yep. So this is only, again, 4 days after Denise Brown's bludgeoning,
like horrific
death.
Yeah. Mind you, in all of this, we should say, David, with abducting all these women, which will come into play here, he just continued going to work every day. He never stopped.
Nope.
He was never late for work. He was never changed his demeanour at work. No one was sort of going, geez, what's up with David lately? Or, or he's late again, or, he's not shown up today. He continued his life around all of these murders and rapes and everything as if nothing else was going on.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Wow. That's pertinent to the story for sure.
Yeah.
As soon as she gets in the car, again, she's met with a knife to her throat. They've taken her to the house and they've forced her to write goodbye letters. Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, she observes everything in this house. Mm-hmm. Now, David and Catherine were using code names. They weren't calling each other by their given names. They were calling each other by other names.
Must have been in that book they read.
Yeah. Don't let the victims know who you are.
I've seen your face, but whatever.
Whatever. Exactly. So, first thing that she does is she tries not to make herself a victim. Okay. She looks them in the eye. She tries not to show that she's fearful.
Yeah. She actually befriends a little bit more Catherine in this, which, as we said, Noeline's tact didn't really go her way because of Catherine being there. That maybe the fact that Kate that she took the tact of befriending Catherine was maybe a better route. And I mean, how are you to know that in this? I totally am not trying to victim blame here that she's or anything like that. But yeah, this was a tact that maybe was a little bit more workable in this scenario. With the two of them.
She wouldn't have known.
No, but she's just luckily picked the right one, I think.
That's it. She just happened. This is the way she went. So I think because of the situation, and as you were saying, David was going off to work every day. So during the day, she had more time to chat to Catherine, get to know her,
girl time,
befriend her a bit.
Oh, God, whatever.
And really, I think the idea from Kate's perspective was that psychologically, if you befriend someone, it makes it a little bit harder for them to then hurt you or kill you.
They did say to Kate that she said they did say to her that we'll only rape you if you are good, which we know is not true. But I think Kate was kind of hoping, well, if we can just stick to that would be great.
Yep, that'd be really
that would, be the best case scenario in this, because that's fucked up as it is. Yep. But yeah.
She notices quite a few things in her days there. One of them was the fact that she could hear the Rocky movie being played on the VCR. She could hear a certain cassette tape that was being played over and over again. Who was it?
Oh, God, now you've got me.
I'll have a look. I think I have got it written down in my notes somewhere, but there was a particular cassette of songs that kept playing, right?
Yeah.
She also noticed a pill bottle that had David's actual name on it. So she remembered his real name.
Yep.
While she was tied or chained to the bed, she noticed that the window in the bedroom, there was like a 15-centimetre gap and it was never closed. They never really closed that window. So she was just kind of looking at her surroundings.
She'd also been given pen and paper, obviously, to write letters to family. That she used the pen and drew pictures and things on the wall just in case she didn't make out of it.
She also...
They would see those and know that she was there.
That's what she was saying. So she also drew pictures on paper and put them inside the pillowcase.
Yeah.
She wanted people to know that she'd been there.
Yeah.
And this ended up being such a brilliant thing for her to do.
She also, they tried to give her sleeping pills because he would handcuff himself, David, to her in the bed and make her sleep there next to him. But they would also give her sleeping pills, but she wouldn't. What she would do is put it under her tongue, kind of as if she swallowed it, and then she'd spit it out, and she hid them under the mattress as well. So leaving again more evidence of herself being there. Yeah.
Incredibly, what a strong woman. She just never went
17 years of age. I don't know if we said that or not.
No, I don't know if we did.
Yeah, she was 17. I mean, that's insane to have the forethought to do all these things.
And to not go into shock.
Yeah.
And, to be able to have the presence of mind to do it. Such a strong woman.
Totally.
So she also kind of got a bit of a feel for the routine of the house and the day and the fact that David would go to work at a certain time and all of that sort of stuff. Kate asked, so this happened on the morning of the 10th of November. Kate asked Catherine if she could go to the bathroom. This forced Catherine to unchain her. And while Kate was in the bathroom, there was a knock on the door. Now, this particular person was one of the Burnie's drug dealers.
Yeah.
And so Catherine didn't want this drug dealer to know that they had Kate in the house. So she took Kate out of the bathroom and shoved her in the bedroom, but didn't have time to chain her up before running back to the front door to answer the door to the drug dealer. Kate used this opportunity to make a run for it. So she got herself somehow out of this 15-centimetre gap in the window because it wouldn't go up anymore. It's not like she could open it all the way. No. She was half naked.
Squeeze through that.
So I think she was just wearing a bra and undies.
I think so, yeah.
She ran. She tried, I think, to knock on
neighbours'
doors. No one was home. I mean, it was the middle of the day at this point.
Most people working, yeah.
She ended up at a delicatessen and the owner of the business was actually standing at the front of the business. She ran inside and screaming. And she's like, I've been raped, help, I need the police.
Yeah.
She was so terrified that nobody would believe her. The fact that that's even a consideration, I think that wouldn't happen in this day and age, you know.
Fucking hope not.
No, it wouldn't. It wouldn't. You cannot tell. Nah, it wouldn't happen.
Yeah. No, I don't think we know too much these days to have that
that's
happen.
right.
Yeah.
So anyway, this shopkeeper has called the police. The police have attended. Now this gets me. The interview with the sergeant who did this, I actually really thought he was great. And I'm guessing this is just another sign of the times. But what they did was they got her in the car. They said to her, do you think you know where the house is?
But even before that, it wasn't until it was a particular constable, Laura Hancock, who got involved. It wasn't until the female constable spoke to her.
And she'd been a constable for like weeks or something.
Yeah. It wasn't until she got involved that they actually believed her.
Yeah.
Which I really get really annoyed with that.
Me too.
But then they decided to put her in the car, it wasn't until they were in the car and got to the address where she really got really agitated and broke down. Because, I mean, how scary. You're taking me back to where I've just run from.
Re-traumatizing. Again, I don't think that would happen today.
No. So she was, because of how beside herself she was when they reached there and the obvious trauma that she was displaying, it wasn't until then the police went, I think there might be something in this. What? Dicks. Sorry. Awful.
I think, but because she was able to give so much detail, so we're talking that, the police, no one was home when the police then knocked on the door. Catherine,
I've got to wonder, what did Catherine do when she realised that she
I think she went running and looking for her.
She must have.
She must have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, an hour or two
She'd
later, the
shit
police...
herself,
Oh,
wouldn't she?
yeah, absolutely.
Or would she? I don't know. They're so weird. Like,
Well, apparently when she came in, she was just like, oh, yeah. Like, as in, yeah, we're caught. Like, as in,
she denied everything.
She did deny it. Initially she did deny it, but that was until David came back. But
he told a different story of like that. Yeah, we'll get to it.
But what the police found was they found the VCR had Rocky DVD, VHS in it.
Time travel.
Yeah. They found the cassette, which I can't remember what that was, but that was in the cassette player.
Yeah.
They found the pieces of paper in the pillowcase, the drawings on the wall, the tablets under the mattress. They found the pill bottle that she described exactly where she described it. So they knew she'd been there. They knew she'd been held there.
Yeah.
And they believed her story.
Yeah.
So they then wait for David to get home and they arrest both Catherine and David. And initially they interview them, right?
Yeah.
They take them separately, interview them separately.
Yeah.
The way they conduct the interview is they basically say to David, oh, we know everything.
Well, first of all, because he's denying
it all.
entirely, and what he said was actually that that Kate was there voluntarily for consensual sex. So he wasn't denying that she'd been in the house and that all these things they found, because they did put it all to him, going, but she told us this and this is what we found, and so he's like, oh yeah, well she was in the house, we were having sex, she wanted it, So that's how he tries to go that route, and this goes on for so long, and the police were getting really, really annoyed. They ended up trying to, so what they thought to themselves, they actually put together themselves that kind of like, you know what, we've got a few girls missing and this is kind of lining up. They did thankfully use their brains at this point and put it together to kind of go, let's try this guy's, call his bluff a bit. And what the cops did was they went, you know what, look, guys, we're over this. We're not even going to do it. We're just going to go dig the bodies up. Which they just happened to say the right thing, to which David went, like, oh, they've already found
the bodies,
those. To which he answered, well, there's 4 of them. Which the cops were like, wait, what? Hey, hang on, wait. They didn't know what they'd stumbled across, really.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they were just really trying to stir him up. They didn't know how many. They didn't really know if it was true that this would be the guy. I mean, God, yeah, just lucky.
I mean, they knew that Kate's story was probably true, but they didn't know that he'd been involved in anything else. Like there was nothing to suggest that he had at that point.
Other than the fact they're going, we've got these other missing girls from the area, like what if this is his MO and he does murder them? And like that was all they were kind of like going, spitballing here. What about this? That's all it came down to, thankfully. And then he just dug his own grave in that he went, yeah, well, there's 4 of them.
They then pressed him on it a bit more and he's like, I need to speak to Catherine.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, nah. But they told Catherine, well, David's confessed everything. So
yeah, you might as well.
You might as well let us know exactly what happened. So they did. They said where they had left the bodies. Now, the police were able to then forensically match the tyre treads from their car to the tyre treads that led to where the graves were, both in the forest and the plantation. And so obviously that ties them to it as well. There was soil evidence in the car, so on the shovel that they'd left in their car, and I believe on the axe there was some evidence, like blood evidence.
Yeah.
So again, we're talking pre-DNA, but they were able to do the ABO blood typing and figure out that, these matched. They then obviously had most of a confession as well to go along with it. So
in that they Catherine went with them to the gravesite there, showing them where the bodies were in this, I guess, getting their statements and their confessions and things like that. And it was very interesting that when they spoke about and they were digging up the bodies and things, that when she sort of indicated where Susanna's body was, Noeline's body was, she spat on her on the grave.
On the grave. What a disgusting pig.
It shows her disdain for her, in that. And
you think, I mean, obviously she's not right.
Oh God,
no. You think you've been caught out. You think she'd be hanging her head a bit, but no, she's just got she's spat on the grave in front of the police officers who are investigating the murder of these 4 women that she's perpetrated and rapes and the brutality of it.
Because there was no denying the fact that in this scenario, I guess, Catherine could have taken the tact of, oh, David made me do it, right? That just threw that out the water. Like for her to stand there in those grave sites and spit on one of the women that they had done this to, it just proved that she was just as culpable as David in this. There is no, manipulation from him to do this, to create this. This is equally both of them, not all him and taking Catherine along for the ride or any of that. And they needed to be treated exactly the same way to me then in the trial. No, more for him because he committed all of it, and she was just in a shit position and couldn't get out of it. No.
Or if he was abusing her, none of that.
No, gone. God, no.
So they both pled guilty,
which
is something, I suppose. They were sentenced.
Well, they did say that too. Even said, David said at the time, it's the least I could do for the family.
Yeah, it's the least I could do. How about you don't murder and rape?
That would be the
women?
least you could do. Actually, I think. Yeah,
not
rape. Do that.
Not rape women.
Yeah.
Not kill them. I feel like that's your baseline.
Yeah, that's bare minimum.
Bare minimum.
Sack of shit.
Such a sack of shit. They were both sentenced to life imprisonment with a never to be released recommendation. In Perth, they have to give a minimum sentence, a parole date though.
Yeah.
So they both did that. It basically meant that with the minimum term, they would have been eligible for parole in 2007. The judge, who was Elkin Wallace, said that David Burnie's prison record was stamped with a never to be released. So that meant when he was eligible for parole, they should never actually consider it. So under the law, they had to have a date, but it should never be considered for him.
Yes.
He said each of these horrible crimes were premeditated, planned and carried out cruelly and relentlessly over a short period. He should never be let out of prison.
Yeah.
Catherine received the exact same sentence, and as I said, her minimum term would have made her eligible for parole in 2007.
Yes.
In 2005, David dies in prison by suicide. He was an incredibly violent inmate, and he had assaulted many, many of his fellow inmates. The day after he committed suicide, he was due to go to court for the assault of one of his fellow inmates.
He was a little man.
Little.
Like, it really shows, I think, just how
vicious
he was.
Yep.
How in desperate need he was for sex, because how he had the ability to overpower these men in prison just is unbelievable. But yeah, clearly,
I think so. He actually got himself into a position so many times over the course of his stay in prison, of his incarceration. He would go to the infirmary a lot. So he'd get into fights, get beaten up, have to go to the infirmary. When he was in the infirmary, he was obviously in with other inmates who were incapacitated for whatever reason, and he would use that as an opportunity to overpower.
Gross.
Just horrific. Absolutely horrific.
Awful. And so, he's dead. Cool. Good.
Oh, by the way, when they were first put in prison, Catherine and David, obviously Catherine's gone to a women's prison, David's gone to a men's prison, they exchanged 2,600 letters between them over a 10-year period.
Yeah. They were utterly obsessed with each other.
They were.
And that's the only part of this that I can come at from the perspective of psychologically those two needing each other so badly. That actually shows me the smallest part of human nature in them.
Sorry, those 2,600 letters were over 4 years, not 10 years, sorry.
4 years, yeah.
But Catherine decided at one point to complete... So I think she was given the advice, if you don't cut off contact with him, you are not getting parole.
Yes, yeah.
That's not going to happen for you. You need to not engage with him. So she listened to that and she stopped writing back to him.
Well, she did. She stopped writing letters to him and started writing letters to her children that she'd never...
This is what I was alluding to before.
Yeah.
She'd abandoned her kids, 20 years earlier, and now she needed their help because she needed family to be released to if she was going to be even considered for parole.
She had to have someone who'd stand there and say she would come and live with me.
Mum.
Yeah.
She wrote to her children. Not one of them responded. Good on them.
Fuck off.
Good on them. Fuck right off. You abandoned them.
Yeah.
They owe you fucking nothing.
One of her children, because he is related to her, has had his entire mouth of teeth punched out of his face.
Yep.
Not because of anything he did.
No, just because
he's related to her.
Now,
just no.
David's only biological daughter, has come out. She's changed her name.
Yeah.
She said she will never, ever have children because she will not continue that bloodline.
Yeah. How? God.
Generationally, this is just going to impact families forever. Not only the victims. I mean, Catherine's children were victims in this too. David's daughter is a victim in this too.
Absolutely.
They didn't choose this.
No.
They didn't choose to have these people as their parents.
The fact that she has come out and said that says to me she wouldn't have a child who would be that, because she would actually give them a child.
But she's like, I couldn't risk it. She actually says, I wouldn't risk it.
I can understand it in that perspective, but at the same time, I wish she'd just know that how she would raise a child then is not how her dad was raised.
Yeah.
And therefore, her child would have more chances of not being that.
Yeah.
Oh, awful.
Now, after David committed suicide, which was on the 7th of October in 2005, nobody ever claimed his body.
Nope.
So he was buried in a pauper's grave, in an unmarked grave, and given a pauper's funeral. So no one actually went to his funeral.
No, why would they?
Good fucking job.
Yeah.
This case is so fucking disturbing. It's not even funny.
Catherine is still in jail, obviously, to this day, and she has had hearings, but she's actually never put herself up for parole because she knows she's not going to get it, really. Yep. But she's actually the prison librarian.
I know. I wonder what book she recommends to people.
How to perform the perfect murder.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. She's like, this one's a page turner.
Read this one thoroughly. Oh man, because they did for a period of time. They did. And it's perform the perfect murders, I guess, in that sense that they managed to do it 4 times. It wasn't until the 5th attempt things went awry.
And it was just so lucky.
Oh, God,
Kate's impact is actually really far-reaching. So for decades after this, so when she was still a minor, maybe not so much, but decades later, she has come out and she has actually changed the law in WA.
Yeah.
So she campaigned against these repeated parole reviews. So in WA, the law was that at the point where you become eligible for parole, you are entitled to a hearing. In fact, you have to have a hearing
every 3
years.
So this was alongside the Greenough massacre as well,
Yes.
the family of her. So it was with them that they changed that law.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's called Kate's Law.
Yeah.
In 2018, it was changed. And what it basically meant was that parole reviews can be delayed for more than 3 years.
Yeah.
So where there's...
I think it's now 6 years instead of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where there's situations like this where, there's very unlikely chance of rehabilitation and very unlikely chance of parole, especially if the prisoner's not putting themselves up for parole, then it can be extended. And what that means is that for the victims, it's less re-traumatizing because what Kate found was every 3 years she was petrified that Catherine was going to be let out.
Yeah. Oh.
She shouldn't. No one should have to endure that. She's already had almost the worst thing ever happen to her.
Yeah.
And yet now she has to be aware that, oh God, that date's coming up again. And oh my God, what if she gets out? All of that.
Yeah.
So good on her for advocating beyond what she did at the time. She's such an incredible woman.
She really is. Yeah, impressive. Wow, to come out of it the other end and be able to put your feet in front of one foot in front of the other, let alone do things like change the law, is incredible.
I think if it wasn't for Kate, there would have been untold number of victims.
Oh.
I know that when the Claremont killings happened, the Claremont serial killings happened, Catherine was quoted as saying at the time that after the first murder, she said, oh, that's a serial killer, I can see it.
Yeah. Because she's lived it.
She's lived it. She knows it.
We need to listen to these people. God. Yeah. Oh, man. Which the cops, again, with that one, didn't put it together for a very long time.
And it's like they didn't learn anything from this one then.
Yeah.
I know it was 10 years, and that's a significant amount of time, I guess, when you're looking at day-to-day policing. But, like, if we don't learn things from situations like this, then what are we doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it's tragic enough that these things happen. At least we need to take something away from it.
Yeah. Yep.
Change things, process things differently.
Definitely.
Look at things in a different way.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen.
No.
And unfortunately, I think it took the Claremont serial killings to happen for things to actually change and that view to shift.
Yes.
In Perth in particular.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God. That's just, this one is a real, it's awful. It sat with me all week kind of going, I just can't, like, to think there were 4 victims.
For me, it was the thing that really got me with this, the 4 victims absolutely and their deaths absolutely. Mm-hmm. What actually really got me was the sexual nature of these crimes and the fact that, you know, we've started off with David and his siblings growing up in a family where incest was occurring.
Yeah.
Moving that then through to him really starting his sexual relationship with Catherine at a very, very young age. Mm-hmm. Moving that through to the addict he became, the sex addict that he became.
Yeah.
I just think, how many points of intervention were there? Where could we have done better as a society? Where could there have been earlier interventions? And where could this have shifted? Where could this have changed? And would that happen today?
Well, there have been others similar. I mean, yeah. So it's crazy. And I have to say too, I can't find it in my notes now, there are a couple of cases prior to these serial killings that people do think maybe David
I think some
committed.
of those have been. So one of those people is Cheryl Renwick.
Yes.
Now, I'd looked into this a little bit.
Yeah.
There is no proof.
No.
There are similar circumstances, which, I mean, you guys can go and do your research and let us know what you think, actually, whether or not she was involved, whether she was a victim of David and Catherine's or not. But I don't actually think she was. The police did a lot to figure out whether she was. They dug up bloody pipes and drains and looked for things, and nothing really came of that. Yeah. So I personally, I feel like if there was something to find, it would have been found.
I feel like it too, when he was so quick to jump to like, oh, there's 4.
Yeah.
I feel like he was someone who wasn't, as much as we said, he was an intelligent man, but I don't think he was that fazed by the fact of really even, I mean, he'd been to jail many times. I don't think it really bothered him that much that he'd been caught, like kind of thing. So I don't know that it would have taken much for him to go, well, by the way, I also did this one and this one. Like, yeah.
And they did. They asked him. They interviewed him about it, and it just kind of never went anywhere. Unless, again, that was another control thing, and he's like, I've still got these ones that only I know about. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah. I don't know enough about the other cases, really, to make a solid judgment call on it, but it's just an interesting thing to I also consider. Do wonder,
because we're talking about with these ones that are prior, they would have been on his own, not with Catherine. And I query, individually, would they have perpetrated these crimes, or was it because they were together that they perpetrated these crimes?
I feel like David, with the rape, would have.
Yeah, rape, I think he
rape
definitely.
for sure.
Yeah.
Murder, I mean, quite possibly, because we know these behaviours escalate. He did harm animals. Yeah. And we know from, you know, the psychology of how these things work that he probably would have gotten to that point at some point anyway.
I think, I feel like he would have performed rapes and things, but I just don't know whether he would have kidnapped someone and brought them into his home and done it like that.
Okay.
Well, as in, like, you hear the article that got put into the newspaper, right? And go, you didn't have enough charismatic personality to be able to charm someone on your own.
I mean, that ad was the most ridiculous thing ever.
To get someone to enter into your home like that. Like, I mean, any dickhead would go, that's not going to get someone to come knocking on my door, really. Yeah. Whereas the fact that he had Catherine with him meant that women felt a bit more comfortable to...
Well, look, if nothing else, it made it easier, right? I think I think he would have ended up there. Would she have? No. I think I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think she possibly, I mean, she was obviously in a life of crime, but it was only ever with him.
Yeah. Whereas,
just
he's perpetrated things without her, whereas
separate,
she didn't.
That's right. And
But,
I just think she was so infatuated with him, she would have done literally
only
anything for
person
him.
in her life who'd ever shown any love for her.
But then I look at her personality and I'm like, she abandoned her children. You know, what else would she have done for him? She would have done anything. Would she have done that for Donald? No,
it was a different life that she lived. She lived two separate, very separate lives.
That's right.
Yeah.
So
did he.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know that she would have.
Yeah. I just find the whole, again, the psychology of the coupling of them.
Yeah, agreed.
Fascinating.
But also she had it in her because she did kill, I don't know, if she hadn't had a hand in actually physically murdering any of them, I might have thought differently about it. But the fact that she did that.
And couldn't have cared less about it.
Yeah.
She had there was no filter there for herself to kind of go, you know, like, I can watch you do this and because I love you and I'll help you do this because that's your thing. But I can't physically do this stuff. I think I can somehow compute that. But the fact that she participated takes it to a whole nother level of her lack of empathy, her lack of humanity. Thank you. Must be the end of the episode.
It is. We're nearly there.
Oh, God.
I think you're absolutely right. I think I'd really love to know what our listeners think because it's perplexing. I think there's so much in that dynamic of the two of them.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about, you know, Paul Bernardo and Carla Homolka, like Ken and Barbie killers, in Canada. And then you look at, we haven't done this one, but Fred West and Rose West in the UK is another one.
That needs to go on our list. I don't think they're on our list, actually.
So we've kind of, they're not the only couple to ever have done these sorts of crimes, clearly, but they're still a very rare, you know, kind of thing that comes out of nowhere.
Definitely.
So interesting. And the fact
how do these people find each other, you know?
This is it. I mean, like finds like. In life, I do get it. And there is someone for everyone. But their relationships do become more about like meeting the needs that are so depraved rather than meeting needs and living a great, happy life together, which is really fucked up.
Yeah, so true.
Yeah. Oh, God, it blows my mind, the psychology of it, totally.
Comment on this episode, everyone. Tell us what you think. Super, super interested. If you've got any case suggestions, speaking of which, please let us know.
Keep sending them
We're
through.
always happy to
We do add them
on
to the list, absolutely.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. If you'd like to join us over on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/2crimebesties. You can follow us on the socials. We're at 2 Crime Besties on Facebook and Instagram. Go and like us, please. Yep. If you can leave us a review in your podcasting app, that is super helpful. In our show as an overall
hit
thing.
That follow button too, like subscribe or follow whichever app you're in and whatever they do. Yeah. That's huge. That helps us massively getting out there.
Heaps. Yeah. Thank you very much for joining us. We hope everyone has a wonderful Easter break.
Yes. Eat too much chocolate if you can afford it.
Oh, I know. Bloody hell. Oh, don't even get me started on that. And if you're going away, I hope petrol's less than $3 a litre.
Oh my God, it's going to kill me.
Just crazy.
It is.
Okay, thank you everybody. Stay safe, stay happy, and we will see you in a couple of weeks.
Stay curious, crime besties.
Bye.